Welcome to A Sister and Her Mister, a podcast where we show you the real behind the scenes of how we balance the PCOS lifestyle in our marriage, gluten and dairy free. I'm Tallene, your fellow sister and registered dietitian.
And I'm Sirak, husband, engineer, and PCOS personal trainer. We're going to make PCOS a little less overwhelming and a lot more fun.
Sister and Her Mister. Imagine you.
So what's your deodorant situation been like?
I mean, I'm putting on deodorant and serum on my face and moisturizer and everything, but I'm not putting makeup on.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I haven't even noticed that. But to me personally, I have not really been putting deodorant on. Only if I shower. If I'm going to go outside, I'll put it on. But if I'm going to be home, there's no point for me. And then, I end up smelling it later when I work out and I raise my arms.
Ew.
Like I'm doing the YMCA.
Oh, God.
And then I smell it. But
The
besides that, I'm
YMCA.
pretty happy, yeah.
Is that our workout now? YMCA.
Well, that's funny you mentioned the makeup. I really haven't noticed. It's better then. You should just not put it on ever again.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I've been putting on way too much makeup for no reason. I would put on makeup and then I'd break out a little bit, but I was like, oh, maybe that's just hormonal, even though it wasn't like cystic hormonal acne. It was like small, texture issues. And now I'm realizing I think it's just makeup in general doing that to my skin. Maybe I just have really sensitive skin, because without makeup, my skin is like glowing and, perfectly fine.
GLOW. Let it glow.
I'm glowing.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
The glow up is real with this quarantine. I put on a, foundation going to the market the other day because I was like, okay, let me look like, decent and put together. Then I came back, I was breaking out. So
your skin wasn't used to it.
I'm not into this anymore.
That's the thing. Your skin forgot how makeup was. And then once, boom, you put it on. It's like, what is this?
I guess I'm just better off without you, makeup. Better off without you.
Alrighty. Well, ladies, if you couldn't tell from the start of this podcast, we're going to make this episode a fun one. We are basically just going to make this one about the podcast, about us, about Tallene and me, and just like 10 little facts or questions that we got from you guys.
Yeah.
We asked online on Instagram at PCOS.weightloss. What are some 10 things you guys want to know about us? Or what are some things you want to know about us? And we got the top 10 and put them together.
Now we have a list. Yeah, whenever you see those stickers on Instagram story, it's usually for a podcast. Let's start with the first question.
Yes. Number 1. How did we meet and how did you, Tallene, tell him about PCOS?
We met on Tinder. And
it's so funny when you think about it now, but yeah, Tinder.
I know, I can't believe that. I wonder if people are Tindering now that we're quarantining.
I think so, but I hear more now that it's very hard to Tinder. Like people are not able to go on serious dates as easy as it used to be a couple of years ago. Maybe it's saturated.
The pool has changed.
Yeah. A lot of bots, I think I hear.
Oh.
I don't know why I hear these things.
Why are you hearing these things?
No, that's what people say when like, oh, how did you and Tallene meet? And I'm be like, oh, through Tinder. And I'm like, have you tried Tinder? They're like, yeah, but Tinder's just not that thing. That's what they always say.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah, my friend has said that. I do remember exactly where I was sitting when I swiped right.
Really?
I was sitting on my sister's blue velvet couch in our apartment in downtown LA. There I was Tindering it up, and looking for a husband. No, I was just like trying to date. And then I saw your profile and you had linked it to Instagram. So then I stalked your Instagram.
Did? No, I didn't.
Stalked you on Instagram. Found out you were Armenian because your name isn't very Armenian. So I was like, let me see what this is about, because you were cute. So I was like, okay, let's see if he's Armenian. Then you were, and I was like,
you're such a stalker.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
And then like people were commenting in Turkish. So I was like, oh my God, he's Armenian from Turkey, just like me. I have to give him a chance.
You have to under the contract.
So then I swiped right. And then you took me on a great date.
Yeah, it was in Hollywood. I think the place was called the Church Key. It's closed now, but that was a fun day. That day was so long too. I remember we met at like 8:30 and like we left at like 1 or 2 a.m., which is pretty long for a date because we went to dinner and then we just like we basically went to one bar and then went to get like some sort of like after drinks and then desserts after. We're just like bouncing from spot to spot. It was good. It was a good time. I definitely enjoyed you. Enjoyed your time.
What was your first impression?
Give you another chance.
What was your first impression?
My first impression was great. It was very fun. I don't know, like to remember details. I felt like your eyes were like what really got me. You have like these puppy eyes. I felt like the way you looked at me, you were like, please take care of me.
No.
I need a home.
Oh my God. You're crazy. That's certainly not the narrative of our relationship, but that's fine. You probably noticed my eyes because you couldn't hear me because you were deaf on our first date.
Yeah, I had just come back from Cancun with my friends for a bachelor party, and on the way back, I don't know if I had a flu or a cold or something.
Your ears hadn't popped from the airplane.
My ears, like when we went up on the plane and went down, they didn't pop, and like I just had this like almost like fluid like thing in my ears, and it didn't go away for like 2 weeks. But like it was
like whispering on our date.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I remember like I heard a glass drop, and I was like, "Did you hear that glass drop?" And Tallene was like, "That's the fourth time that's happened. Haven't you heard the other ones?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, he's a shy guy. He doesn't, project his voice, and he's really introverted. Little did you know
I'm a maniac.
The exact opposite of who you are. Gosh.
Hilarious. All right. Oh, well, the other part of the question was, how did you tell me about PCOS?
On the date, I told you I eat gluten and dairy free. So you ordered me a gluten-free drink in a gold pineapple cup. And later on down the line, you bought me a gold pineapple cup, which we have. And, but I don't think, did I tell you PCOS on the first date? Maybe I like glossed over it.
Well, you told me
because of my hormones.
During the date, you were gluten and dairy free. So that like we had to,
I may have elaborated on it.
Yeah. But maybe you told me on the second date, like more about it. Like,
yeah.
But I think we handled it pretty well.
I know. I think you handled it fine.
No, you told me like the basic stuff. No, go ahead. You should explain it.
Yeah, I told you the basic stuff, and I had a pretty good hold of my PCOS at that point in my life. Like my acne had just cleared before I had met you, because I figured out, I really need to cut out dairy. I was like partially cutting out dairy. No, I really had to cut it out. That really cleared my skin. I did laser facials. That really helped. Anyways, by the time I met you, like I had it all pretty much together, except the workout portion, which we figured out together. So then when I told you, it wasn't really that crazy of a thing. But I imagine
you had it under control,
people who are listening, maybe they got diagnosed while being in a relationship, or maybe they're already married and they just realized. But in any case, you should confidently approach it when you're speaking with somebody about it, because you'll figure it out. Like there are things out there that you can do. You have to be patient. It takes a lot of work sometimes to really investigate your health. And I know we're lucky that I figured it out before I met you. But
we should go into the second fact right now, which is Tallene's PCOS journey. Like since you're talking about what you did, babe, like why don't we talk about that? The second question that came in the questionnaire was, what was Tallene's PCOS journey like?
It was long, and it took like a long time to investigate my health and figure things out. And, had I been with someone, yes, I imagine it would have been difficult, especially because there wasn't a lot of resources at the time when I was diagnosed. Like online, there wasn't a lot of help, like in terms of Instagrams and stuff. So I imagine it would have been challenging to be in a relationship at that time. But it was like there were ups and my skin was bad at one point. Then I had to figure that out. By the time you figure it out, like a year goes by of like miserably living with terrible skin.
Yeah.
And I had lost 30 pounds after going gluten and dairy free. And the only reason why I went gluten and dairy free was because I went to naturopathic doctors instead of my gynecologist, who was only prescribing me birth control.
Is that who diagnosed you? Like, how were you diagnosed?
Yeah,
I remember your cyst
ruptured. The cyst ruptured.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital and they said, oh, you have PCOS. And it was just the most like, and then I went to the gyno afterwards and she was like, okay, PCOS. And she handed me birth control prescription. And I was like, I have so many questions, and she didn't answer any of them.
Ugh.
Then I went to Google, and it was like, cut carbs and like don't eat anything, like work out more. So I did that, and that certainly didn't work. And I had no concept of like hormonal health at the time and what I could possibly do to help myself. So then I was like, okay, these gynos aren't going to help me. So I'm going to go to a naturopathic doctor. That was also overwhelming because then they told me everything I needed to do at once. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in college. Like, how do you apply all of this? All of these supplements, gluten and dairy free, don't touch plastic, everything organic. Like, it's crazy for a college student at that time. Like, but I took it one step at a time.
Yeah, it's like one of the hardest times to, like, I would say, go through PCOS because you're trying to learn and go through life, and at the same time, it's a life-changing event.
Your body is like a mess.
And we should mention we're planning a future episode where we talk about PCOS and how that is for a college student or like any, like in that age range, like going through it and like when you're going through life and trying to deal with PCOS at the same time. So we'll have that coming to you very soon. Yeah.
But the best takeaway from that is I took it like one step at a time. I went gluten and dairy free.
Absolutely.
One bite at a time. I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself to like be perfect at it. It took like a whole year to get used to the gluten and dairy free lifestyle. Even then I was like, I can eat a little dairy. And then because I don't eat any gluten, but like I ate a little dairy for like a few years and I was breaking out really badly till I finally was like, no. That's why my skin is breaking out. Stop lying to yourself.
Even with like the working out portion, like you found that out like years later.
Yeah, when we met.
Yeah, how to better work out and stuff. So it all comes in time and going slow, like you said. And I'm glad you're able to figure it all out like that.
Yeah, and it all comes back down to, everything happens for a reason. And now we're here helping all these women not have to go through the 10-year struggle that I went through. Or if you already did, you can just stop struggling.
Yeah, of course.
Inspire them. So it was all worth it.
It's great, babe. I love it. All right. Let's go to number 3. Sirak, what do you do and how did you get involved with Tallene and PCOS weight loss?
Tell us, babe.
So I'm actually an engineer. I work for a company that deals with making stuff for like nuclear power plants and stuff of that nature. So I work as my daytime job. And Tallene and I, like when we were dating and when we got married, we were doing these workouts and we realized that Tallene realized, oh wait, why are you working out differently? Like I'm not used to this slow weighted approach, like doing slow weighted workouts with the weights and stuff like that. She was used to doing like going around, like running sprints, like HIIT, things like where you're just going workout after workout. So, through teaching her how to work out and seeing the results and like we started to show that to others, I became a personal trainer and then I focused on PCOS, helping women with PCOS and especially focusing on the personal training in that area. So through learning and just working with Tallene, like being honestly, like I would be to be completely honest on the podcast, I'm more fulfilled doing this than any time like I've done with my engineering job. Like in all these 10 years I worked there, this is more fulfilling in the last couple of years. So just want all of you to know that, and because of that, that's how I got involved and why I got involved, basically.
Yeah. And Sirak discovered his incredible ability of producing and content creation.
Oh, yeah.
Since we've gotten married.
Totally. That's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. You should see our setup right now. This whole podcast was his idea. I was not planning on doing a podcast until you were like, we should really like branch out and, do this thing. And it's so out of my element.
I mean, I don't want to take credit because you're the reason this podcast is what it is. But it was my idea to do this podcast. Idea.
I would have never implemented
this. I forced to buy the equipment, and the equipment came one day, and I was like, "Babe, it's sitting. We're gonna just set it up, and we're gonna get going." But absolutely, babe, you're the star of the show.
Oh, stop it!
You are PCOS weight loss. I mean, I know. But to me, you're the star.
No, it's fine. No, but really, I would have never bought this. Microphone. Sirak got all the great.
The great thing about a good relationship is you push each other out of their boundaries. I
just looked at it and was like, okay.
I know the
He
tech
seems
stuff.
really passionate about this.
Yeah, I know the tech stuff. You know, the whole, compassion and all that jazz. All right. Next one.
question.
Number 4. What are your favorite TV shows, Tallene?
Well, this is a great question because I love to watch like Kiki TV, like just the Wendy Williams show, The Real, Keeping
Just
Up with the
drama,
Kardashians.
like real TV drama,
I don't like Real Housewives as much. It like gives me anxiety with all the screaming and yelling for no reason. And there's just like, to me, I haven't really, I'm not into it that much. But The Real, I love. And they are like the best because it reminds me of the 90s and like early 2000s. The hosts are like Tamara Mowry, Adrienne Bailon, like people that I used to watch on TV.
And we did go to their live show. We sat right in the front. One of their Tamara's, I don't know.
Tamara's assistant.
Yeah, Tamara's assistant was she was a fan. We were able to go and get a seat there and watch the show.
Yeah, it was amazing. I love The Real. And then the Kardashians, of course, because I'm Armenian.
Yeah.
And Wendy Williams, I just think she's funny, and the way she talks is like so like. Ugh.
I hear this all the time from the other room. It's just like, I hear like, and did y'all hear that? And then like round of applause, and then Tallene's like, yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite show?
I mean, let's just say I like high quality shows. I just like stuff like, like Sopranos or like The Wire, like things like that. But then I love comedy like Chappelle's Show and silly stuff like Workaholics, or like me and Tyler right now are watching Monk as like, one of those like nighttime when we relax kind of shows, like things like that. I don't know. I'm not really too into reality TV shows I love horror.
No, that's so not you.
Yeah,
reality.
I love horror. But Tallene hates horror, so we can never watch horror. I sometimes try to like throw in a thriller with a little bit of horror, like sneakingly. Sometimes it works, but if it starts with like a really horrible scene, Tallene's like, "Oh hell no, close
I'm
this."
done. Close it.
So that's like rare. So I don't know. That's pretty much me.
I could barely get myself into Monk, but now I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it takes a minute.
I mean, it gets gross. Okay.
All right, number 5. This is a good one. I think a lot of sisters can relate. Number 5. Is your family supportive? My family is, somebody said my family is pretty much eating gluten and dairy free too. So Tallene, that's like directed towards you, and it's about really like about PCOS, and is your family supportive about that?
Oh yeah. I mean, ever since I started, my mom was like cooking gluten and dairy free versions of different foods, which is awesome. And my sister is now gluten and dairy free, and so is my mom. My dad, pretty much by default. Everyone was pretty supportive. There was like an adjustment period where, because we eat a lot of traditional Armenian food, my mom was like in a state of shock that I wasn't eating certain things, and like offended at the same time. But we moved past it.
Yeah.
I lived.
She just had to learn and understand why you were doing it. It wasn't like directed towards her or her like cooking. Yeah.
You have to just do what's good for you, and then everyone will see you, lose weight or heal, or your skin and this and that. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, she was right. We were wrong. And that's it. You don't, I understand, why somebody would ask this though. Like, oftentimes it's hard to push through and be, try a new diet, gluten and dairy free, or anything new when you live with somebody who's not supportive, or like bringing you down, or making fun, or
Totally.
doesn't want to like cook accommodatingly, which is fine. Then you're gonna have to do it yourself and take action for your health. It doesn't depend on other people.
Of course.
And I think we read something in the sticker that somebody had said have you told your husband, was he supportive? Was his family supportive? Like,
that's a big
about
one too.
the infertility risks and all of these things.
Not that part. I was going to bring up the in-laws. Were they supportive? And I think in my case they were. Like, my mom, I remember she made like gluten-free like versions of some like, Armenian foods and stuff. But it's not always easy to explain to them either.
Anyone's problem. Like, if anyone is talking about it in a way that's like offending you, I understand if you're offended, but like, it's not their problem. Like, it's you, it's you taking care of your body, like whether they like it or not, whether they like that you're gluten-free, dairy-free or not, whether they're judging you about the infertility risk of like having PCOS. Like,
me, I never really thought about that.
Like, I don't need your opinions,
totally. Yeah.
Sirak has never even thought about it.
Yeah.
Because if you're married to someone, especially your spouse, like, and maybe you found out you had PCOS after you got married, and then you find out that the fertility is going to be an issue after you got married. If your spouse is not supporting you through this, difficult time, which, I don't want to speak too boldly. Like, understand that it can be difficult if like the spouse wants to have a child, but come on, like,
you gotta be.
You have
to be a team. Yeah, there's no separation or in the team. Yeah. Like, it's having a relationship is like keeping this household together, and unfortunately, if one side goes through something, the other side has to, bring them back up, and not like push them back down worse. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that question like bothered me when I read that on the sticker. Like, how does Sirak's family feel about PCOS? Get out of here! Like, I don't care what. Like, I don't care what anyone thinks of my PCOS.
Yeah, let's not be rude.
No,
but I know what you're saying.
Not to your family, but like in general.
I know what you mean. But yeah,
it's like, no, I don't.
No, I totally agree with you. You should never care what anybody thinks about your own, like, symptoms, your own diagnosis. You're doing what you can to help yourself. How dare anybody say do one thing or the other? And that's that, period. You. Exactly, period. That's that, end of story.
Like, they're perfect.
You should never even consider their side of their story.
End of the world? No. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm done. End tangent.
Let's move on to a little bit more fun subject. Number 6, who dresses better? I love this question. Love it. I like to say me, but you are good too.
I am more than good.
So here's the thing with Tallene. Tallene dresses great, but she goes for these. Wait, I'm gonna close the window because there's somebody just. It sounds like they're just whacking a tree.
Well, I'm gonna pick up from here as he closes the window. Okay, I have great style, although sometimes I like to look trendy, which does often translate to cheap. Okay, if that's not the right way to say it, I'm not sure.
Sometimes, or I'll just say half the times you buy new clothes, it's something that like you could wear once, and then the second time you wear it, everybody will know you wore it again, because it's like something that's like so.
Okay, I like a statement sometimes. I mean, it's fun, like a jumpsuit that has a pattern. Like,
but there's a subtle, like.
Sirak has a classier style. I'm not gonna lie.
But here's the thing.
It's just something.
Tallene will wear. This is my favorite part of the process, and I think she enjoys it too. Like, Tallene will wear something, and she'll be like, "What do you think, baby?" And I will get involved. I'll be like, change that out and put this, tuck that out, tuck this back in, do that. Like, as in like your shirt, put this there, and then.
He's the Kanye to my Kim.
Exactly. I feel like a Kanyeezy. I'm just like directing her. I'm like, tuck your shirt in now. Okay, let me see. Turn around. Okay, you're good. And then like,
you have elevated many an outfit.
I would say so. We went shopping together one time, and like you got like 4 things that like I found for you. I was like, man, what? This is great.
I like taking fashion advice from you or my sister or my mom, because it's like a new, fresh perspective. I gravitate towards the same things,
One would say a better perspective.
So one might say a better perspective. I'm not saying I have the best style.
I'm just
playing. I like my style, and sometimes it's annoying when you don't let me, or I mean, not let me, but like when you don't support my trendy.
Bro, I'm not gonna let you go into the wilderness and make a fool of yourself.
Stop. Okay, FYI, ladies, I wear what I want.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Oh my gosh.
Professionalism time coming at you.
Okay, next question.
Alrighty. Number 7. Who would die first in a zombie apocalypse? Man. Okay.
I'm gonna say me.
You, but I would protect your ass so good. I would like put you over my shoulder and like put you in the car, and we'd be out. FYI, my dream is an apocalypse. It's such a shame that this corona thing, obviously, this corona thing is
It's
horrible.
such a shame that
So
it's
horrible.
not a zombie
But I'm just
apocalypse
saying,
instead of
I've always been looking for like this catastrophic event one day, like
Oh,
you know, like a
God.
movie like San Andreas, and like having the opportunity to like save my family,
Oh my goodness.
be the Dwayne Johnson, the Rock of my life,
God forbid.
and this corona thing happens, and you can't even do anything about it. It's invisible. Someone breathes on you. I mean, like, I don't know what to do here. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insensitive. I'm sorry.
I'm
Not
sorry.
dead, but like, I don't mean dead. I mean, you're sick. Done. Like, oh, now I'm sick. I can't do anything. And you can't even go outside. You're quarantined. You can't do anything about it. It's just so.
The only way to fight it is to stay at home. That's not enough action for you. You're the one that wants a zombie apocalypse.
I need action.
All right. Well, I'm for sure dying in a zombie apocalypse.
It's okay,
Before
I'll
the
save
zombie
you.
even kills me, I'm dead.
It's all
So
good. I'll
let's
save
face
you.
the fact. What's something you're proud of? Oh, I have one.
What's yours?
Okay. Highlight of my life. Once upon a time, I was doing meal prep for people, you know, just cooking healthy meals, whatever it may be. And I was reached out to by somebody from college who is the assistant to somebody famous. And she asked me to cook for this famous person. And that famous person is Solange Knowles.
And that means a lot to you because you are obsessed with Beyonce. And you got to you like Solange too, but you got close to Beyonce's sister. You are one sibling
I was
apart.
like one sibling away. It was the highlight of my entire career / life besides our wedding day, cooking for Solange Knowles.
It's amazing, babe.
It was the best thing that ever happened.
So
to
proud of
my
you.
whole career.
I'm proud of you. And you're going to do even more.
It was like I literally threw myself on the ground and was like, OMG, how did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
And that was
What about you?
no, I was just saying that was like like a while ago too, like when you were beginning like your career and like you were like really doing these great things already. So like, okay, you're good job with the whole path.
It was insane. I like refer to that in my mind sometimes when I feel stressed. I'm like, remember that time this happened? That's when I like remember that moment. I'm like, anything's possible.
Yeah. Alrighty. For me, it's just like what I'm proud of is like finding out like how creative I can be and like being able to make content with Tallene and just like proud of like the
branching out of engineering.
Yeah, branching out of like
finding
something.
a new
Yeah,
passion.
totally. Well, thank you for saying it for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well,
like
you're fumbling around. I feel like I need to like.
That's how a guy talks, okay? He doesn't make a sentence. He just like picks up words that comes up. It's like Scrabble. You're playing the game. But yeah, it's pretty much like that. That's what I'm proud of, I would say.
I'm proud of you for that. That's amazing.
Thanks, babe. Alrighty. What's your number 9? What's your ongoing hobby, Tallene?
I'm the crazy plant lady.
Yeah, I would say since moving in, right?
Yeah, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees.
You weren't like this
in our
before.
apartment. I was never like this. Obviously,
I don't know what I got myself into.
I don't know what you. But
Forget PCOS. You should have told me about these plants before when we got together.
I mean, you can't have enough plants if you ask me. Seriously, if it goes with your space, obviously you don't want to like clutter up and like make everything look like a cluttered mess. Mm-hmm. But it just goes like those 2 trees on either side of that long mirror that just go. This fig tree next to the couch. Like, how could it not be there? Like, it's just. I need plants everywhere.
No, I like them.
In fact, I was on Instagram earlier. Oh my gosh, you're going to go crazy when I tell you this. But this one girl, she had an ivy plant and she had a shelf on her wall. So she put the ivy plant on the shelf and then, you know, the ivy was like growing and she nailed the wall and like hooked the ivy onto it so that it could just go all over the wall, like grow all over the wall. So her living room wall was like covered in ivy. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so next level. We have to do that. Look at Sirak. You should see him right now.
I'm happy for you.
I'm going to try it.
You're bookmarking all these things?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I'm going to try it. Okay,
no, to be honest, I like the plants because it brings some life into the apartment and it really makes it enjoyable. Like, you know, when you're inside. I mean, I already love our apartment because of all the daylight, but it adds an extra level. So it's cool. It's cool, but we're at like 85% capacity.
When
I'm just saying right
Weezy
now.
was living with us, I thought he was gonna like pee everywhere because of all these plants. I thought he'd like think he was like in a yard.
That's true.
Okay, what's your hobby?
My hobby, I would say guitar. I've been like learning the last year and a half, and just trying to get better. It's definitely
it's been like 2 years, babe.
2 years. Thank you for reminding me. It's been 2 now.
Yeah, we've been married for 1, and you were practicing before we got married.
Yeah, I'm still just getting better. I want to get like
good.
I don't know. I don't think I'm there yet. I really want to get good one day. Like be able to just like play good songs and stuff. I'm not there yet, but that's like my hobby. It really relaxes me. I love playing. It's just like very enjoyable to me.
To me, you're playing so good because I remember when you first started and you taught yourself how to play, you know, using an app that obviously would help, you know, you learn about chords and stuff. But like, I remember when you first started, you literally couldn't even like hold the guitar.
I mean, of course, nobody knows how to play guitar at first, yeah.
But now you're so like talented compared to that day.
When you listen to rock and you know what it sounds like, you have a high standard. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to Nirvana. I grew up listening to Alice in Chains, like all these different these like great guitarists. Pink Floyd is my favorite album. I mean, like you can't. I mean, my favorite band. It's just like you can't compete with these people.
You can't.
So when I play, I'm like, I can't do it.
Listen.
But anyways, I love it.
You play 30 minutes a day. Like, how are you supposed to play like Nirvana with a real, a career, and then like working with me, and then like 45 minutes a night? Hopefully, you have a chance to play guitar amongst all the other responsibilities you have. Relax. You're great. Next.
I apologize to everybody.
Favorite quirk about each other?
What's yours?
Mine is your animated dramatic reactions to things. They like, for example, dinner. Like if I make something really good, you'll be like slapping the table and like screaming. That makes me excited. It's my favorite thing about you. The drama, the melodrama. That's not the right way to say it. The comedy you bring, the dramatic comedy.
Okay, I'm glad I'm the comedic portion of your life.
You are.
I like that.
Everything would be
That's
so
what
boring.
I like doing. I like
Dinner
making
would just
people
be
smile.
dinner
I like
if
making
it wasn't
people smile
for you
laugh.
slapping the table and.
That's honestly my favorite thing to do, though, is making people smile and laugh.
You always push it to the next level.
That's something to do too much.
Sometimes he just takes
the sisters don't know, like,
they don't
the
know
limits I push it to.
Sirak is like, he's like, how much further can I push her?
And like I go to the point where like I'm hanging off and I'm like barely holding on the edge. Like that's how far off like
Let
I
me
go.
give an example.
And I climb my back up by.
He'll put things at the edge of the coffee table, at the edge of the dinner table, just to like make me freak out that he's gonna spill it, or that he wants to like make me laugh, right? So he like puts the cup like halfway off the table. One day it falls, okay? But he'll be like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what did you think was gonna happen? He like takes it to the edge.
Sometimes I don't say sorry. Sometimes I'll be like, it was your fault. You shouldn't have pushed me that far. You should have pulled back the cup.
Oh my gosh.
You should know better.
Sirak always.
Anyways, my favorite quirk about you is like you'll give like these looks and smiles to me, like like you'll be like a little like a.
What? My facial expressions?
Yeah, but like like if I'm like annoyed or something, I'm like my head. I have a headache, and like you do, I'm like I get annoyed. But like if I'm like in a good mood, you do, I'm like, she's so cute. That's why it's a quirk, right?
I know I am pretty animated with my face. I'm glad I'm bringing you joy with it.
Yeah.
I also can't hide anything because my face is so animated. Like you can see if I'm sad, if I'm hiding something, if I have a secret. Like,
well, especially when you know each other so well, like you kind of know when the other person's like annoyed with you or like it's not really happy with you. It's like there's no longer like acting.
Yeah.
There's no longer texting. Like
I can tell. Like for example, my sister, just by the way her eyes like are, just like the slightest squint or something, like I know exactly her mood and like why and what's her problem and what happened. Like I know she's pissed and
Tallene would know when I got home
Sirak,
from work, like if I'm like annoyed or not.
What happened? Nothing. Oh my gosh, what happened? Like, okay.
Bonus. That was 10 questions facts about us, but we're gonna do a bonus one because it's a pretty important one. Why we do this? Why we have a podcast? But why we have the whole, this page and everything about PCOS and helping sisters out there.
Helping a sister out. Why do we do this? Because I don't want sisters to go through what I went through. And I feel like there are too many things out there that are confusing, like resources out there that are confusing and misleading, like Facebook chat forums where everyone goes to complain and there's no solutions there. Or like, certain Instagram pages that are just overwhelming with facts. I am into this because we produce content that people can follow it, like the simplicity of it all. There's just so much you can do for PCOS, and we start with gluten and dairy free. Like we start with one thing at a time, and we don't try to overwhelm our audience with the facts and everything we know as personal trainer and dietitian. Like we don't spew all of that information at once. We feed it to you in a way that I would have liked to receive it when I was diagnosed.
Yeah, that's sweet.
What about you?
Great. I mean, I'm really in line with what you said, babe, is like to help the sisters out there and like to teach them what you learned through your process, but make it easier for them because, there's no reason for like all women out there to suffer and learn. Like they should just be able to learn from the get-go and not go through that phase of suffering. And it's just why we like keep on doing the same thing every day, bringing you content and bringing you information that's like fun to learn from. And so you go in the right direction and like basically forget about your PCOS one day because you're managing it so well.
Exactly. We love you, ladies.
Yes, we do love you. So to end it, we're going to give a quick little shout out. We always like to do a winner of the week, a sister who's managing her PCOS. And we're going to read something from a review left on our podcast page.
All right, so this review is from Maggie Rod, and she says, these two are definitely a lighthouse for sisters with PCOS. Since I was 11, I had irregular periods. I had gone from doctor to doctor, and no one gave me a straight answer. It wasn't until I was 29 that a doctor took the extra steps to confirm I have PCOS. Oh my gosh. But that was it. I was only prescribed metformin and birth control and sent home. It wasn't until I did an Instagram search that I found these two and the awesome advice on exercise, stress management, and recipes they have to offer. My whole life, I felt like something was wrong with me, and these two give you the encouragement to live with PCOS and to take the fear of infertility away. For the first time, I feel hopeful.
That is sweet.
Love that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the lovely review. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, that means a lot to us because we put a lot of time and effort, and hearing it's helping is like the number one reason we do it, and
it's so motivating for us.
So motivating to keep forward, and that's fills us with joy.
Yes. Makes us produce more content.
Good job, Maggie.
Go, Maggie.
Alrighty. That's it for this episode. We hope you liked it. This was just a fun one. Just for a second, we pause, all the information and learning. Let's just have fun for a week. Let you guys know more about us. But next week, we're back with another episode on PCOS and something you can learn about it. Not sure what that is just yet. We'll see. We want to keep you guys guessing a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Thank you all. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come check out the Sisterhood. It's my monthly membership site where sisters just like you are learning how to move through the stages of PCOS. From stage 1, cold and alone at the doctor's office, to stage 5, nailing the PCOS lifestyle, gluten and dairy free. Get ready to finally feel in control of your body again.